Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. I'm about to roll a video clip that was shared with me by one of my viewers. In the video clip, you're going to see a whole bunch of young people. They're basically going into a restaurant and they're screaming Black Lives Matter and all of this other kind of stuff. Doing other things, knocking people's food off the table and saying party over and things of that nature. Anyway, what I want to do first is I'm going to roll the video clip and then I'll come back with just a few words about the contents of the video. Now, as you've just seen and heard, it's all there for you. They're going into these restaurants and people are sitting there eating. These people are running scared because they're being screamed and yelled at. People are saying Black Lives Matter and things of that nature. Now, if I want to be very honest, these are frustrated protesters doing this, okay? But they're not really physically harming anyone. And some people call that terroristic and mob rule and things of that nature. But imagine how Black people felt when people weren't just knocking food off of tables and yelling words at them, but they were actually stringing them up by trees and firebombing houses and things of that nature. Now, I said all that to say this. I don't condone what these people are doing. I don't condone anything of the sort because it is counterproductive. You're not going to get anything accomplished. But I wanted to make a point here that there's a huge difference in these people being scared and whole Black families being scared. Whole families being just completely taken off of the earth. I mean, whole Black families being hung, whole Black families being burned out, firebombed, all kinds of things. That's a different kind of terror. This right here are people who are upsetting an environment. They're saying, look, if we're not going to get any justice, you're not going to get any peace. So they're taking away the peace of those who are sitting there eating because they don't feel that they're getting justice. Now, even with that being said, this is not the way you go about it. Because what that does is it stirs up more anger in people who are already angry, people who already hate black people, which has been proven in history. Now, the sad, unfortunate thing about this, too, is the fact that a lot of the protesters or people who are in these crowds are not even black. A lot of them are white people as well. You have a good crowd mix there. It's not just black people, not just white. There are others there as well. But the point being is all of this is being pent on black people, you see, and that intensifies the anger and the hatred towards black people that was already there burning within them. One thing we've got to understand is us screaming that our lives matter to people who never thought your life mattered. You think they're all of a sudden going to say, yeah, you got a point. Go ahead and knock my steak off the table. You just convinced me that your life matters. That's not what's going to happen. It's just going to stir up the anger and the hatred that was already there. You see, that's what's going to happen. You cannot remove anger and hatred and bitterness towards you by going in doing things like this. This is foolishness. I'm sorry. I don't agree with it. I've seen a number of people justify these things and say our young people are getting tired of the mess. And I'm saying to myself, our young people are getting tired of the mess. This, to me, in all honesty, a lot of our young people, some of them don't even know what the heck happened in the past because no one teaches them. They're looking at the present things that have happened, and they're going off of what has happened since they've been on the earth, right? But some of them don't even know what happened during slavery, or they don't even know what happened during the civil rights movement. They know the story of Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and people like that, but they don't know the extent of the terror that our people have had to endure. And so to say that our young people are just getting tired as to justify that they are fighting back, what, do you think some of our ancestors didn't fight back? Many have fought back, but these young people today, unfortunately, to me, I see some of them as opportunists who are going out there because there's a crowd of people and they their feet are swift to run to trouble. The way I see some of them out there walking and marching, they're dressed a certain way. Some of the young women provocatively. Everybody has their phones out and walking around, what up, and all of this other kind of stuff, busting out windows for fun. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's the way I see it. And that's not to say that that's every last black person that's out there. I have seen peaceful protesters, but most of what you see at nighttime, with the windows crashing and stuff like this, is really not the protesters. These are just people who are seeking an opportunity to be out in the streets, doing whatever they want to do, making the whole movement look bad. It's bad enough that the founding of the movement was based on not just black lives, but agendas that people are trying to push. There's a whole lot going on with this. And when I see videos such as this, to me, it is foolishness. Now, those of you who follow this channel, you know I believe in the Bible. I believe in our Creator. I believe in prophecy. I see prophecy unfolding, whether you want to accept it or not. But for me, I see that these young people don't understand. They don't understand that you can't get justice trying to appeal to the people who are doing certain things to you. They're doing what they want to do. It was prophesied that they would. They don't care about your life. And you screaming, hollering, and knocking platters of food off the table is not going to make them care about your life. Now, they might switch around some laws and things of that nature, but guess what? You can't train hatred out of a person's heart. And I had one of my viewers send me a picture that I thought was, I would say, very threatening towards black people. If I remember, I'll put it up on the screen, but it says, warning to BLM and Antifa. It says, once all police departments have been eliminated, there's nobody protecting you. Remember that. So that sounds like a threat, like kind of like Purge. Once the law has been lifted, then they can just go crazy, just killing, right? Well, here's the thing. When have our people ever been protected? By police? If you really look around, If you look around, even other countries are saying, man, what are you doing to your black people over there? Why are you killing them like this? This is why I put up the one image with all of the statistics showing that in other countries, for the past 10 or 20 years, they've only had X amount of murders or cop killings. But in America, in 1 year alone, they far surpassed what some of these other countries did in 10, 15, or 20 years. So that shows you that there's definitely a problem and definitely a purging. We're seeing black people shot in the back and the actions being justified. I mean, it used to be a time where they say freeze, police, right? And it was against the law for cops to shoot someone in the back because a person who's running from you is not a threat to you. But in America, we are seeing where everyone is saying, justified. Yep, they shot him in the back 7 times, justified. They strangled him, justified. I've even seen cops do things to people in wheelchairs. They've knocked people in wheelchairs who are unable to do anything, knocked them on the ground completely just unruly. And it was justified in the eyes of the American public and some of their superiors. You see, so what are we experiencing here? The same old, same old. And people don't understand because they don't want to understand. They would never want to trade places with you because they know it's not fair, but they want to trick their own minds into thinking that it is fair. But my point is this to young people who run to these events and you think that you're doing something cute or something, you're doing something that is so amazing. You're not. Okay? You are not. You are just creating or causing more problems. It is what it is. I don't support these types of things. And when I made the comparison of fear, people running in fear, again, I want to reiterate the fact that them running in fear because people are yelling at them is totally different than when a black person was running in fear because a mob of angry white people were there. I mean, look at Black Wall Street. One man was accused of possibly bumping one white woman, and that was enough for all of these white people to just go on a rampage, a mob rule, and they just started killing black men, women, and children. How was that fair? How was that righteous, you so-called God-fearing country? These people don't really truly fear God. They actually hate black people, and they use the Bible to justify that hatred. And they actually think that there's never going to be any day of reckoning from the God they claim to serve. They believe that the God they claim to serve is going to overlook all of this, you see. But I know I've said a lot, and I can go around in circles making comparisons to this and comparisons to that. I like to think of myself as a fair person. When it comes to black and white people, most of the focus in the world is black and white. Of course, sometimes you'll hear the occasional mention of Chinese people, Latinos, whatever, but for the most part, it's a black and white thing. I like to think of myself as a fair person. I can see if a black person is wrong or if a white person is right in something. I can see that. I can personally look at a situation and judge it fairly based on facts that are presented. And I don't like to twist facts. I see a lot of people like to twist facts in their favor, like with the whole Trayvon Martin and Kyle Rittenhouse situation. You have a 17-year-old with a gun who inserted himself into the situation, who's being called a hero, who was defending himself by shooting people. But Trayvon Martin, they didn't feel that he was defending himself by hitting someone. He didn't shoot anyone, and he didn't insert himself into the situation. He was followed and pursued. But the amount of backlash that I got from reprobates shows these reprobates are just no getting through to them. They see Trayvon as a thug who didn't have a right to defend himself against George, but they see Kyle as a hero who had a right to defend himself against protesters. You see the difference? They claimed that these people were pursuing him, and so he shot them. But Trayvon Martin was being pursued, and he hit someone. So if you are one of those who came in my comment section and called Trayvon a thug for defending himself against someone who was pursuing him with a gun, you're saying that he was the aggressor. How was he the aggressor when he was the one being followed with a gun? So let me ask you this: since Trayvon was the aggressor, would you have done the same thing if you're a white person and you're one of those who answered on my video? If a big black man was following you with a gun in the middle of the night, dark time, if a big black man was following you with a gun, if you had an opportunity to hit him and run, would you have done that? Would you have felt that you were not right in trying to defend yourself with a person following you with a gun? See, that's how you can tell that there is no righteousness in the mind of a reprobate, because you keep calling Trayvon the thug when he was trying to defend himself, just like you say Kyle was trying to defend himself. But the only difference is Trayvon was minding his own business and he was pursued. Kyle was minding somebody else's business, came all the way from another state, and he was the one walking around with a gun. So if you think your mind is sharp and clear and you're not a reprobate, that proves yet again that it's simply because you hate black people. I'm done with this video. For those of you out here protesting, doing all this foolish stuff, I know that my words will probably never reach you, but it is what it is. It's foolishness that you're doing. It makes no sense whatsoever. And this is why the scripture refers to this as a wicked and perverse generation. All right, with that, I'm out. Notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.